Welcome to our Lectio Divina podcast for the Second Sunday of Lent. Last week we journeyed with Jesus into the wilderness. This week we will journey with him to the high mountain in the company of Peter, James and John. As always in Lectio, the invitation is to enter into the Gospel passage and to discover that what is given to us there is not only a work of God in the past, but a symbol or type of where and how God continues to work and to be present in the world today, be it in our own personal lives, in our church community, society, our country, or in the world. Feel free to pause the podcast if ever you feel to dwell longer on any stage of the journey, picking it up again in your own time. God's gift for us, our food for the journey for this week, the second Sunday of Lent, is Mark chapter 9, verses 2 to 10. Jesus took with him Peter and James and John and led them up a high mountain where they could be alone by themselves. There in their presence he was transfigured. His clothes became dazzling white, whiter than any earthly bleacher could make them. Elijah appeared to them with Moses, and they were talking with Jesus. And then Peter spoke to Jesus. "Rabbi," he said, "it's wonderful for us to be here. So let's make 3 tents, one for you, one for Moses, and one for Elijah." He didn't know what to say. They were so frightened. And a cloud came, covering them with shadow, and there came a voice from the cloud. "This is my Son, the beloved. Listen to him." And then suddenly when they looked around, they saw no one with them anymore, but only Jesus. As they came down the mountain, he warned them to tell no one what they had seen until after the Son of Man had risen from the dead. They observed the warning faithfully, though among themselves they discussed what rising from the dead could mean. What happened back then? Mark situates the Transfiguration at a critical moment in the life of Jesus. 6 days before this event, Jesus had engaged in a heavy conversation with his disciples about embarking on the road to Jerusalem and the likelihood that he would suffer rejection and be put to death. The disciples were greatly shaken and deeply disturbed by what Jesus had to say. Understandably too, Jesus himself was anxious and troubled, and he welcomed some time out to be alone with his closest friends. There on the high mountain, in the presence of Peter, James and John, Jesus was transfigured. He had a profound experience of the Father's love for him, which confirmed him in his identity and mission, and filled him with new energy, confidence, and radiant beauty. On witnessing his transfiguration and hearing the reassuring voice of the Father from the cloud, the disciples too were strengthened and empowered for the difficult journey ahead. you enter into that experience of Jesus and his disciples by remembering a stressful, challenging period in your own life, when you felt the need to take time out with a close friend to immerse yourself in the world of nature, be it on the high mountain, or a solitary seashore, or a sheltered woodland, a spacious parkland, the beauty of your own garden, or gazing into the silence and stillness of the night sky. Surrounded and enveloped by the healing presence of nature, you experience the nearness of God, calming your fears, stilling your racing mind, freeing your heart, giving you true perspective, confirming you in what you had to do. Transfiguration experience that instilled you with new strength and confidence for the difficult challenges ahead. Perhaps the desire to build 3 tents was very real for you, to prolong that wonderful time and to postpone the journey down the mountain. Perhaps you might be touched by the detail of the cloud covering them with shadow, the re-emergence of fears and doubts. Perhaps you can identify the reassuring voice or voices confirming you in the love of the Father, the love of friends, and the value of your life. Let the experience of this meditation continue in the coming days as you go on your way, as you go about your ordinary everyday activities. Keep your eyes and ears open to what's going on around you and what's going on in the wider world, and you may well be surprised to find this gospel passage living again in all kinds of new situations. When the time is right for you, you may just feel to pray in your own words, thanking the Father for the gift of this passage, for the life experiences that it has reminded you of. Recall for the Father in your own words your experience of high mountain, transfiguration, building tents, voices from the cloud, the journey down the mountain again. Thank the Father for how you've come to see his healing, liberating, energizing presence at work in your life. Looking back, there may have been times when you were so preoccupied, driven, consumed with the worries and stresses of life that you missed out on opportunities and invitations to go to the high mountain to renew and refresh your heart and spirit, trusting in the Father's love. Let him know your regrets or sorrow. You may also be moved to a prayer of petition that Lent may be a time when many will have the opportunity to go to the mountaintop, to be renewed and reinvigorated by the Father's love and the love of family and friends, that many will be reminded that they are beloved of God and be filled with new strength and confidence to face the challenges ahead. With a trusting heart, let the presence of God now take over and draw you into a deeper prayer of silence and stillness. In the event of distraction, you might choose a word or phrase from the passage, for example, the word beloved, and repeat it in the quiet of your heart to assist you on this journey into silence. Simply rest your heart now, trustingly and receptively in the presence of God. Stay with this deep prayer for as long as it is given to you. May God go with you as you meditate on the way.